But welcome everybody. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to hit the subscribe button.
I remember in middle school when you felt self-conscious if you were the last one to go through puberty. That really went topsy-turvy, didn't it?
Sometimes the Hasbara, it's too much explaining yourself and it's too apologetic.
Be sure to hit the notifications bell.
I actually do believe Israel won't just bomb countless civilians.
Be sure to tweet this out. Be sure to put this up on your Facebook.
You have to be kind to people. Be kind to the guys in this mess in the first place.
Put this up on your Reddit.
Chile is a country.
Be sure to cut and paste a link to this to go into your favorite Facebook chat group.
It's good to see so many normal people in here.
Now, spanking isn't just my deep, dark personal secret. It's America's deep, dark secret.
I've never seen it explained so simply anywhere.
Put this on WhatsApp. Put this on Telegram. Put this on your favorite messenger app.
Hello and welcome to the Untitled Anarchist Seagull channel. I'm your host and Untitled Anarchist Seagull called Elise. I think we've got a pretty good show going on for tonight. Had actually a really good stream this afternoon. I've been trying a bit more of a new, not exactly a new format, but sort of a new approach to it. And it seems to be working very nicely. One thing, we watched a video, actually somebody in chat suggested, about what's called TPRS 2.0, which is an adapted, sort of updated method of teaching languages, an improvement on TPRS, which is teaching proficiency through reading and storytelling, which is a very effective method based on the importance of comprehensible input and breaking it down into sort of digestible bits. Great video. And then we looked at an episode of this South African series called The Language Series, which is just each episode is about a different South African language, and this one was about Tsotsitaal and Sepitori and Fanagalo, and it was really good, really interesting conversation we had about it and everything. That's going to be resuming at 4:30 tomorrow, 4:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time over at I just dropped that link in there. Come by and check it out. So, got a number of options here tonight. Got some Darman bullshit. Also, it occurred to me, see, I started looking at the stuff from JNS TV. Mostly because it showed up in my YouTube Recs, and I looked at it and it was an absolute hot mess. So I figured, this is the sort of content that we look at on the Untitled Anarchist Seagull channel. And, yeah. And it occurred to me, I mean, those are pretty hardline right-wing Zionists. Practically everybody involved that I've checked out has been somehow connected to Likud, the far-right party that their predecessor group back in the 40s, when it was Irgun Tzvai Le'umi, had actually offered to join the war on the German side in exchange for Hitler making a Nazi protectorate in Palestine for Zionists. The Nazis did not return their calls. But the thing is, that lets liberal Zionists off the hook. And the thing about liberal Zionism is it's way more insidious because it is much more socially acceptable. You know, you look at the sort of the right-wing Zionism of somebody like Ben-Gvir or Smotrich or Netanyahu or those pricks, or, you know, the Greenblatt asshole, and it's just so, it is very in-your-face racist. But the liberal Zionism is just as racist, has an actually worse track record in terms of human rights for abuses for Palestinians, though that is being heavily challenged by the ongoing genocide in Gaza. But it manages to be much more socially acceptable because it at least sort of claims to have some sort of affinity with values that are not vile. So I thought, well, how can I get some liberal Zionist bullshit to look at? And I thought, what about J Street? That's some liberal Zionist bullshit. That's what they're dedicated to. It's a liberal Zionist bullshit organization. So I got a video from there on the campus anti-genocide protests. Let's check that out. There's also, we've got a bunch of things. We've got Can America Be Saved with Ben Shapiro. We've got some just various Darman bullshit. We've got Zanderhol, the new Biden oil trading rules proves he's a better businessman than Trump. That's what we need right now is a businessman. You know, all these fucking survival level catastrophes and everything. What we absolutely just need is a fucking businessman. I mean, and Zanderhol understands that. We've got a whole bunch of Darman bullshit. Feminist, and then an oldie but a goodie from Pim Tool. Feminist politics has made dating nearly impossible. And much more. So, what shall we get started with? Maybe start out with, the Darman bullshit. Billionaire girl finds out Crash is a bar boy. Apparently will not be shocked what happens next, because it doesn't say we will. And, I mean, you can trust that. So we're gonna start out with some Darman bullshit. This is Darman doing class. I'm sure it's going to be wonderful. Okay, what's with this music? This isn't so much Crush music as the Enterprise just ran across some sort of new spatial phenomenon. Is this the meet cute? What's going on here?
What's wrong? Come on, Chloe. You know how guys are. We broke up 3 days ago.
I have a dog called Chloe, and she's wonderful.
I don't know. I thought he'd care more after everything we've been through. You should just take him back. Like I said.
Why? Why should she take him back? She's just decided she's annoyed with him that he has gotten over the breakup so easily. What about that says that this would be a good relationship to continue?
All guys are the same, but at least Gavin has money.
This is where, see, that music tells us that this is actually going to be a heist. They're gonna rob Gavin.
Right! Hey! What's going on? What? What's with all the new clothes? I'm glad you noticed. Prada, baby. For real. Come on. Okay, I got it for $20, Bucks, but it looks super expensive. Am I right?
What kind of Kramer shit is this?
Hey, what are you doing with that? I made a tulip for Chloe. It's her favorite flower. You made it slide. Shut up. Oh, whoa. Hey, sorry, dude. It's just... You really think a rich billionaire's daughter is gonna be...
As opposed to a poor billionaire.
Impressed with a folded piece of paper like that?
It is well known that rich people hate origami. It's their kryptonite.
I know. Hey, if you really want to impress a girl like that, He's gonna show her some bling, okay? Some jewelry brands, some...
Yeah, because, I mean, if there's one thing that, you know, she's never seen before, it's expensive things.
Designer brands, jewelry, you know, stuff that works. I don't have money like that. I only get paid $15 an hour babysitting. And besides, summer's coming up, and it's my last chance to ask Chloe out before we all...
I think I know what library that they made this music with. That sounds very familiar to me. That spiccato cello, I think it is. I think that is the free VST library of fucking BBC Symphony Orchestra, the same one I use.
I'll graduate, you know, and I don't want to do that by pretending to be someone I'm not. You know what? I get it. I get it, man. Wait, no, you can't just go over there. No, dude, you can't not bring that paper flower over to her, all right? Like you said, this is your last chance.
Yeah, and your origami sucks. Here, you gotta fold it better.
Right? All right. Okay. All right.
Oh, I thought my parents were picking me up.
My apologies, Miss Chloe. Your parents didn't return from their business trip as planned.
Okay, he doesn't look like the driver so much as he looks like he's here to murk her.
However, I do have a certain someone who might cheer you up.
Beanie! Hi! Oh my goodness, I miss you so much! Hi, wait, Beanie! Beanie, come back! Beanie, come here! Beanie!
Wait, they're so cheap they didn't even attempt to show... Like, you could do that with a shot with the fucking car not moving if you show it fast enough. Where he just sort of runs in front of a non-moving car. And you simulate movement. Like, this is... God, the production values are exactly as good as they're paying their workers for.
Beanie!
She's okay.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
Oh yeah, don't worry about it.
You can't run off like that. They gave me a heart attack. Thank you. So, what's your name?
Hi.
His name's Hi.
Brian.
Oh, nice to meet you. My name is...
Chloe. Yeah, I know.
How'd you know my name?
We go to the same fucking school. We see each other in the hallway all the time. I'm a stalker.
Class, this is Chloe Beck. She just transferred to Brookside.
Oh wow, so it would be so weird for him to know her name. Since they've been in the same fucking class for 3 years. I will say, good job getting teenagers who are only in their 20s this time. Usually they're like 40.
Ooh. Hey, Chloe Ryan. Has a nice ring to it. So annoying, bro. Hey, let me see. Bro, no, go do your own thing. For once, okay? Leave me alone.
Wait, so he's had the same locker for a year?
Oh, do you have a crush on Chloe?
No, I'm just a stalker. It's nothing weird. I'm just dangerously obsessed.
Oh, that is the cutest case of puppy love I've ever seen.
That is the cutest case of totally realistic, normal human dialogue I've ever seen.
So, how'd you know my name?
Oh, I
How do you not know his? More to the point, you've been in the same class for 3 fucking years.
Say it's all I know.
Chloe, are you ready to head home?
Why does he need an explanation for that? Why not say, we've been in the same fucking class for 3 years? How do you not know mine?
How are you getting home?
I was just planning on walking.
I'll walk home today. I'll meet you there.
Please be careful. Too.
So, which way? I go the other way.
That's okay. I mean, I don't mind walking you home. I mean, walking both of you home. So.
Like, why did he need to make up an explanation for why he has her name? I mean, clearly they go to the same school. Like, what the hell is that? Okay, this montage, they've moved, like, what, 15 feet? It's the same fucking background. Are they ever going to leave this car park?
I can't remember what it's like
walking outside of this car park. 'Cause Darman's so cheap, he don't pay for location shots, no.
to hold one you love by your side. Or maybe I just can't seem to sing to say.
Like, are they ever going to start walking? Are they just gonna hang out in this car park the whole time?
When I'm with you, there's no reason for why. I'm intoxicated by your side. Nothing in the world's gonna beat this high. I've been searching for all of my life. When I'm with you, it's funny to think we should know.
I guess the screenwriters went on strike here. Since they just decided to have this montage with no fucking dialogue.
Maybe for once I can finally find my home.
It's the game. It's the addictive game from Star Trek: The Next Generation. You get the donuts into the milkshake. Then you throw the milkshake on Nigel Farage.
When I'm with you, there's no reason for.
How many fucking montages are we going to get in a half-hour thing?
I'm intoxicated by your side. Nothing in the world's gonna beat this high. I've been searching for all of my life. When I'm with you.
What the fuck is he folding there? Is that a maxi pad?
When I'm with you.
What the hell is that thing
In that white dress, nothing in the world's gonna beat this high. I've been searching.
Like, is this gonna be just nothing but fucking montages?
Sad because your parents aren't back yet?
I'd say it's a combination of things. My parents, my ex.
I'm sorry, Chloe.
Like, did they not have anyone to press that?
But I know something that will put a smile back on that face.
Whose?
Your favorite! Oh.
There's food in it.
Didn't want tortellini? It's from Giovanni's.
How the fuck would she know it's tortellini? It's just a bag.
No, this is great. I miss when Mom would make it from scratch when I was little. I haven't had a home-cooked meal in so long. I miss the old times. You know, before the fancy things and all the money. Simple times.
When we were only millionaires.
Now I'm always eating takeout restaurant food and my parents are barely home.
See, rich people the ruling class have problems too, you see.
I'm sorry you're having a bad day.
Well, it wasn't all bad.
Wait, she's not gonna break into another fucking montage of what we just saw, is she?
Wasn't it, Jamie? Yeah? And I met this really sweet guy.
Oh.
I don't know a lot about him yet, but I'm really excited. Yeah? Wasn't he nice?
Oh, that's supposed to be a bone. I just worked that out. They didn't show it to us for more than 2 seconds.
Okay. Knead the dough. Knead the dough.
What kind of... you call that kneading?
Yeah. That's the good stuff.
No, it isn't. That's not kneading. What the fuck is that?
Let's...
No. Also, what the fuck are you cooking that you're only just kneading the dough now, at the same time as you've already got whatever the hell that is on the stove? Like, what even is this?
Come on.
Fire extinguisher? Turn the fucking thing off? Yeah, fan the flames, that'll do it, that's good.
Jeez.
Wow, there's absolutely no... it didn't leave a sign. This fire just disappeared and the stove is perfectly clean all of a sudden.
Hey! What's the big news? Yo, you won't believe whose number I got. Chloe's. Yeah, we even hung out for a couple hours after school. What? Dude, that's awesome. No way. I'm serious. Yeah, I was just about to call her right before we FaceTimed. What? No. That's too soon, or she'll think you're desperate.
Besides, you don't want her to go into another fucking montage.
Is that flour on your face? Why are you cooking? I've never seen you cook before. Chloe told me what her favorite dish is, and so I thought it'd be sweet to make it for her. For when we hang out next, you know, still...
You wait, for when you hang out next, so you don't know what it's gonna be, and you're just gonna let the shit sit in the fridge?
Since I don't have any money to take her out anywhere.
Wait a second, but... the flour costs money. The gas costs money. The fucking, like, tortellini ingredients cost money. These days, the cost of food is catching up to the cost of eating out.
You're kidding, right? A girl like that is used to eating fine dining, Ryan. Okay? She'll be running for the hills if she finds out that you're poor.
Which, obviously, he would have to be if he's cooking?
Think so.
Who the hell are they?
I have news.
So do I. But you go first.
Okay, you're not gonna believe this, but I met someone. And he's so thoughtful. He gave me his jacket when I was cold. He loves Beanie, and he pulled his chair out for me.
Pulled his chair out?
The complete opposite of Gavin.
Okay, but does he have the most important thing of all?
Somebody else's Netflix password.
Money?
I don't...
Why the fuck does she need him to have money? She's got money.
No, but does it matter?
Yes. Especially if you want to show up Gavin and make him jealous, because...
Why? I mean, again, I thought we've established she fucking has money.
I just saw him with some girl, and it was...
I'll take both Birkin bags, please.
That's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
So when are you getting...
Are you sure this is a good idea? Yeah, 1000%. All right, she's not gonna go out with a broke guy considering her ex is Gavin Holtz. Dude, come on. If you want to have a shot with Chloe, gotta impress her, all right? And this.
Generic
How you doing?
sunglasses.
Okay, but shouldn't I just be myself? Oh. Yeah, dude, absolutely. Yeah. If you never want her to talk to you ever again and blow the one shot you've ever had.
Wait, I mean, it already worked yesterday, though. They had like 3 fucking montages.
Yeah. No, put the glasses on. Right. Yes. Now go get him, Tiger. I got this.
All the Birkins.
I just wish
What the fuck?
she would leave the
What kind of
cafeteria.
conversation is this? Why are there only 4 people in this high school cafeteria? Like,
Don't look, but I think he's coming over right now.
and he's like 36?
Chloe. Long time no see.
I see you wasted no time moving on.
Okay.
Well, plus he's clearly gay.
Let's not forget, you're the one who broke up with me.
Yeah, so why do you give a fuck?
Yeah, for a good reason.
Look, I'm not trying to fight with you, okay? The truth is I'm still not over you yet.
Like, actually, I take the last remark back, because what the fuck's up with that hair? That looks so much better from a distance. Now that they're coming closer, it just looks weird.
I've been partying and talking to other girls because I thought it would help. But if anything, it's only made me realize I miss you even more.
I want to talk to you about buying Birkin bags.
I want to try things again. So,
What sort of things? Like anything in particular?
got you this.
Oh, wow.
You know, Godiva is the most expensive chocolate.
No, it fucking isn't.
It doesn't matter how expensive the chocolate is.
I mean, it's good. I mean, it's good chocolate, don't get me wrong. I'll eat some Godiva. But that is not, like, that is not even close to the most expensive fucking chocolate there is.
If you really knew me, you'd know that I don't eat dark chocolate.
I do. Give it to me.
You're seriously complaining? You have any idea how much I spent on this?
Yeah, about $20.
I would rather take a handwritten letter because at least you put some thought into it. And if you really wanted to work things out, you would take the time to get to know me instead of going out and partying with other girls. And to be honest, I deserve that.
How's everybody doing, Josh?
And I actually met someone who's not.
Oh, yeah. Right. Somebody better than me?
Yeah.
I'm handsome?
No.
I'm rich.
So's she, like, who gives a fuck? And you have a horrible haircut, and you apparently don't even know that there is more expensive chocolate than Godiva.
And I've got lots of money. Mm-hmm.
So does she. Why does she give a shit?
Those last two are literally the same thing.
So what? Money counts as 2 points. What does this other guy have that I don't?
A better haircut?
Hey, Chloe.
Wow, he's got all the knockoffs. What the fuck's with this music? Are we gonna have a montage with his, like, fucking bootleg batamono?
That's him.
Okay, he definitely looks like he has money. I approve.
Hey, like the shades. Nice to meet you,
You
Gary.
are indoors.
Oh, jeez, you were destroying me, dude. Okay, off to red.
go start some fires. I got other things to do.
Oh man, you were ready to beat me. Catch up.
No, it sucks, in fact. That's where I go to start fires, and I do have some tortellini I made like a week ago.
Ryan, would you be able to house sit for us, please? We have an urgent family matter.
And if you can, could you stay until the night?
That's what house sitting usually is. What the fuck is until the night? Wait, how is it house sitting if you're just going to hang out for a few hours?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can house it.
Thank you so much. You have no idea what a help this is. Come on, Logan, let me get your jacket on. Okay, let's go. Bye.
Bye, guys. Bye.
Again with the lighting.
Oh my.
Like, what the fuck lighting is this? Every time there's somebody black on a Darman bullshit cinematic universe property, they get lit like this. They get fucking backlit, so they're practically in silhouette.
Gosh.
Like, are they just using auto? Are they using auto ISO? Because this is an actual problem with a lot of the cameras out there, is that they're like auto light their auto light metering actually has not been tested. When you do, they have all these settings like portrait or whatever like that. And the thing is, they actually only tested their lighting settings on white people. And so the result is if you use them on anybody else, it fucks it up and you end up getting silhouettes.
You.
Like, why are all these lights out? Why not?
Dude, I thought you were off already. They had some
At least
type
use
of
some practical lights,
emergency,
Jesus.
so they paid me a bunch of money to house it. Yeah, bro. And also, you're not gonna believe this, but Chloe wants to hang out with me. Yeah, so I invited her to dinner over at my place. Can you believe it?
Wait, hold on. No, absolutely not. She can't see where you live, or she'll never take you seriously. Oh, come on, Ryan. I've got an idea.
What the fuck's with this friend of his?
All right, I'm coming over, but just hide all the family photos around
Like, he has literally never said a nice thing to him yet.
the house, okay?
What? What do you mean? No. What? Wait, Tommy.
Let me into my zone. 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 Please don't let me in. Yeah. Go and play that. Take you down, I'ma say that.
What kind of Miami Vice bullshit?
$2 telling you now this payback.
Who's this dude?
Ask them now what's stage at. I've been going to the top and I got what they not, so I know that they hate that. But I'm on now. All these lanes gonna zone out, and all these lanes gonna take what.
Wait, how much did he get paid to spend a couple extra hours there?
I did, and they twist and they burst till I fall out. But I know that.
And that's like one portion. Are they just splitting one
So I
portion?
keep what I'm doing cause I own that. And I stay in the lab and I kill everything, but I don't ever move, I'm a Kodak. So I'm gone, finally back in my home. I'm working like so much, they swear. Have me a clone.
Using it all up already. Now he's gonna have anything left after this.
Can't beat me up cause I'm back in my zone now.
Wait, not only is it okay that it's just some assortment lying around in a shop, not even a hand-picked one. Yeah, fuck that.
Cause I'm back in my zone now.
How many fucking montages are there gonna be in there?
Back in my zone now.
Wait, they're gonna how much what? Like, also, apart from everything else, apart from, like, the expense and all that shit, who's gonna believe that house has a budget? What is it, like Mr. Belvedere or some shit?
Back in my zone now.
All montage. Montage is all the way down.
You know, dude, I don't really feel good about this, man. It feels kind of slimy. No,
Yeah,
trust me, if you want her to like you, this is what it's gonna take, right? Just channel your inner Gavin Holtz. Have an inner Gavin Holtz, okay? I'd rather be myself.
Oh god, we don't need another montage. Please, no more montages. Oh god, like, what kind of friend is this? Every time he suggests just being himself or something like that, he has, like, not a single... He's never said a single fucking nice thing to him. This is... Actually... There's just way too many fucking montages in this one. I think we're gonna switch over and look at some liberal Zionist bullshit. We might come back to this. This is J Street U students discuss anti-war protest. I mean, see, that's one thing. That's
welcome, everyone.
One thing you can always tell with liberal Zionists, they will at the very least kind of be somewhat, you know, sound like they're in the same moral universe. So they'll acknowledge that they won't acknowledge that it's an anti-genocide protest, but at the very least, they're not going to call it a pro-Hamas protest or some bullshit. This is part of how they slip under the radar. It's part of why people leave them off the hook.
Situation on college campuses, J Street U students discuss anti-war protests. I'm Sam Berkman, J Street's National Director of Communal Relations, and we are honored to be joined by 4 incredible J Street U student leaders.
J Street, from anyone unfamiliar, is sort of the liberal Zionist version of AIPAC. Their entire idea is it's a pro-Israel organization, but they at least, again, try to appear to inhabit the same moral universe as, like, normal people, kind of.
Leaders who will share with us about the experience that they are having as college students right now in the spaces that are seemingly shrinking, humanization, and growing tension. Many of us here have witnessed appalling scenes of anti-Semitism, disturbing acts of police brutality against peaceful demonstrators.
See, like, for example, they'll acknowledge that. Notice how they did that, too, the sort of both sides thing. We're probably not going to hear an example of an appalling act of anti-Semitism, but, see, they will acknowledge that much. Because, like, I mean, liberal Zionists at least try to sound like they sort of... You know, it's like the Squad, who are there to make the Democrats look like at least some of them breathe air and drink water. That is the, like, social role of liberal Zionism.
Raging hostility between protesters and counter-protesters.
Raising hostility between protesters and... Well, I mean, that's an interesting way of putting the fact that fascist goon squads are joining up with the cops to beat the fuck out of the protesters.
And today's discussion is meant to cut through that noise, of which there has been plenty, and hear directly from our student leaders navigating these difficult climates on their respective campuses.
So these are all, you know, pro-Israel. These are all liberal Zionist student leaders, is the key.
Before we get started, a couple of technology notes. First, there is a Q&A feature at the bottom of your screens to ask our student panelists the questions. We will do our best to get to as many of those as possible. And today's discussion will be watched and reshare afterward. So with that,
which is what we're doing right now.
Speakers. We have Lauren Haynes, who is a junior at the University of Michigan and serves as president of J.
Okay, I'm kind of curious what she's had. Okay. Okay. She wrote for the Racist Forward. Let's see, reading something that she wrote. This Lauren Haynes, she wrote an article in the Forward, a really racist rag that for a while tried to sound like less racist than it actually is. Talking about how Noah Shitby showed up at a pro-Israel rally in Orlando, Florida. Shitby is not the only external activist fanning. She's not an external activist. She literally works for the Israeli government. She is literally on the payroll. That's not a secret. I mean, she signed off on that horrible Hollywood letter. The one demanding Jewish Hollywood, Jewish entertainment, Jewish people in the entertainment industry to condemn the director of the Zone of Interest for, talking in extremely mild terms about the genocide in Gaza. She signed that, and she actually identified herself as being like the Israeli government's special representative on anti-Semitism or some such shit.
National board. She has been involved in J Street U since stepping foot on her campus freshman year. Henry Sears is a senior at Columbia University, where he serves as one of the co-presidents of J Street U. Previously, Henry worked with the Paris Center for Peace and Innovation, a prominent peace-building and coexistence organization in Israel.
Yeah, I mean, again, straight up just liberal Zionism, so normalization, where the idea is we're all just gonna get along, not gonna talk about, like, why there are problems, not gonna talk about the underlying issue of, a racist regime that's engaged in genocide. We're just gonna get along, and that mostly means that you don't get to talk about your experience.
Rachel Burnett is a senior and chapter president for J Street U at UCLA, as well as J Street U's National Communications Committee chair. Outside of J Street U, she interns at Nexus Project, an initiative focused on parsing out the relationship between criticism of Israel and anti-Semitism.
What is this called? What's this called again?
Parsing out the relationship.
The Nexus Project. Never heard of it. Now I'm curious, though. Resource for policymakers. Okay. The Nexus Project advocates for full implementation of President Biden's national strategy to counter anti-Semitism and against the false accusations of anti-Semitism as political weapons. That's literally impossible, because Biden's fucking national strategy against anti-Semitism is based on the International Holocaust Reenactors Association's redefinition of anti-Semitism, which is all about using false accusations of anti-Semitism as political weapons. I'm going to drop the link to this in chat.
Criticism of
this
Israel
is dodgy as hell.
Anti-Semitism. Mayrav Solomon is a sophomore at Tufts University, where she leads her J Street U chapter and serves on the J Street U National Communications Committee. She is a daughter of 2 rabbis and an alum of the dialogue program Seeds of Peace.
Yeah, I mean, just normalization everywhere.
Thank you all for joining us during what is both a stressful moment politically on campus, to say the least, and academically as we near the end of the school year. So before we get into the meat of it all, I wanted to start off just by seeing how you all are doing, given some of the scenes and events happening on your campuses. Certainly we saw
well, I mean, not just what's going... I mean, this is a difficult, you would imagine, for anyone who is trying to be pro-Israel and it does not already self-identify as an outright fascist. You would imagine this would be a very difficult moment. Liberal Zionism has been has been in decline for a while, precisely because it really hinged on people, outside of Israel, liberals outside of Israel, not realizing what it was that they were supporting, being able to claim some level of ignorance. And
tonight, some of these come to a head, both on Columbia campus and UCLA. And so wanted just to check in with you all in terms of what it's like to be a college student at this present moment. Lauren, you want to give it a start?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm Lauren. Personally, I'm okay right now. I was
Oh,
actually able
well,
to.
I mean, if you're okay. I mean, there's a genocide going. Notice there was no mention of the genocide going on. The whole problem is phrased as the protests. That's what's stressful. Not the fact that tens of thousands of people are getting murdered in Gaza and the entire place is being just razed to the ground and rendered uninhabitable, and people are being deliberately and openly starved to death and shit like that, and Joe Biden's just kind of cool with that. No, 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 and making it all possible. No, the problem is, that what's stressful is the protests, you see.
leave campus yesterday. I just finished my last final. The Michigan school year ends really early, but I couldn't wait to get off campus, honestly, even though I love my school. I have a great life there, but the atmosphere is just so volatile. And especially after what happened last night at UCLA and Columbia, I'm really.
I guess this must have been when the fascist goons attacked UCLA in full view of the UCLA chancellor and like threw explosives and shit at them.
Heartbroken right now that this situation has ended up like it has.
That she's heartbroken that the situation has ended up like it has. Like, she hasn't said what exactly. I'm assuming that this was when the massive raid where cops, at least one cop, definitely admitted to firing his gun during the attack on the encampment there and the occupation of Hins Hall and everything. But I mean, it's all just very euphemized.
Thanks for sharing. Henry, let's go to you next. How are you doing?
Hi everyone, I'm Henry, and I would say I'm like physically fine, but very overwhelmed, especially with all the scenes that we saw coming out of Colombia.
Listen to see who actually brings up Gaza first. Because nobody has said it yet. Like, nobody has said it. Like, when we're framing the problem, nobody's talking about it. This is from, like, a month ago? I think, let me see. Yeah, exactly, yeah, a month ago. This is fairly recent. And the problem they're describing is not, Gaza does not get a look in. That is
After the escalation of the protest, that no, it's been a lot. I could hear the protest from my apartment chanting at the NYPD. So it's been a lot, but
wow, they were chanting at the NYPD. What were the NYPD doing at the time? Just out of curiosity, what were the NYPD doing?
I'm doing fine.
Well,
thanks for sharing. Rachel.
Hi, I'm Rachel. I also, fortunately, I'm physically okay.
Well, of course, why wouldn't you be? You weren't at the fucking protest. We can be fairly certain about that.
Got maybe an hour or so sleep last night, just, listening to the news. I could hear the helicopters and everything.
Let's just note, in LA, there are neighborhoods where the helicopters fly low just to fuck with people. Not because there's any kind of incident going on, just to fuck with people, like every other day. Like Echo Park, 3 or 4 times a week, you will have helicopters, LAPD fucking helicopters, flying so low that you have to hold stuff on the walls. Like pictures will be falling off and stuff like that. And this is a special experience for her. That tells you a lot about how much she gets out off of campus at UCLA.
From my apartment, and I was texting all of my friends who I knew at the encampment, people who were at the scene reporting live, my people who I know who are reporters at the Daily Bruin, because
okay, when she said people I knew at the encampment, I thought, what, she knows protesters? This could be interesting. And no, she just knows people who are like student press.
So reporters at the Daily Bruin were assaulted last night, as well as protesters. And so, yeah, I'm just pretty horrified and disturbed by what happened last night. And also just,
Still
the way
no mention of Gaza.
Which, people have chosen to express themselves throughout the past 7 months and express
what?
way in which people have chosen to express themselves throughout the past 7 months and throughout
The way people have chosen to express themselves, that's what's freaking you out? The way people have chosen to express themselves?
these protests, just in general, has been alarming and upsetting.
Okay, so still no mention of Gaza, still no mention of any of what's going on in Gaza.
Yeah, I think we can all understand that. Mirav, how are you?
Yeah, hi. Hi everyone. My name is Mayra. And I would say I'm doing okay. I want to echo everything that was said by Henry and Rachel and Lauren, and I'm so inspired by their leadership on their own campuses. Tufts has been pretty quiet so far. Our encampment has been up
Yeah, I haven't heard
for
much about
around
Tufts.
3 weeks. It started a long time before much of the media attention was on a lot of these encampments. Last night we were a little bit worried about some police presence as a no trespass order was put out by the Tufts.
It's almost like, I mean, the only reason there was anything disturbing going on related to the encampments was that the cops decided to bring the fucking violence.
Administration. But so far, no police brutality on our campus, and the protests haven't escalated to that point. Luckily,
the protests haven't escalated to the point of police brutality. That's an interesting way of. That's some interesting doggo
but,
right there.
Personally, I would say I'm definitely heartbroken. I share with Lauren in that I'm heartbroken that it had to get to this point.
That what had to get to this point?
And as somebody who centers a lot of their work in dialogue, it makes me really sad that we're not able to do that anymore. And that
yeah, see there, I mean, that's that liberal Zionist thing right there. It's gonna be dialogue. We're gonna talk endlessly without ever addressing the issue. The elephant in the room will not be mentioned.
Doesn't seem like a viable option for a lot of people on campus. And
like, what's there to fucking talk about? There's a genocide going on. You know, the only thing to talk about is the best way to stop that.
Or to progress our issues and talk to each other.
Which issues?
Appreciate you all sharing. I wanted to take a step back, and although we've seen protests and the issues come to a head in the past couple of weeks or so, this is not new for many of you. This has been going on, at least in the intensity, I would say, since October 7th. But
wow, okay, so still.
But certainly, as members of J Street U, I think you're no strangers to being in the middle of this debate.
You might almost say on the wrong side of this debate.
On campus, where this issue plays more prominently. And I would say that you're probably in the front lines of our movements. And so I just wanted to get a sense of how your chapters have been responding to the events at play in Israel and in the West Bank and Gaza since October 7th. Maybe we'll go back the other way. Mirav, you want to start?
Sure. I've been really proud of my J Street U chapter. We have dealt with some of the hardest situations that you ever have to deal with as a college student working on this issue.
Yeah, I mean, they are so skilled at avoiding the elephant in the room. 7 minutes in, nobody said a word about Gaza.
And I think we've come at them with empathy, with vulnerability, with radical compassion.
What the fuck does that shit mean, though? What the hell is radical compassion? You're not even going to talk about what this is about.
And that's really been why we've been able to succeed in building such an incredible community this past year. It's one of the things that I'm most proud of. We were able to meet with Congress members at the very beginning of the year.
Well, doesn't it surprise you? Doesn't it strike you as interesting, though, that you get to meet with Congress members and the anti-genocide people that you have such radical compassion for and are getting their asses kicked by cops?
After October 7th.
Doesn't that make you sort of think, though?
To talk about what we cared about, to talk about caring about the dignity of Israelis and Palestinians. And
what the fuck does that mean, though, in this context?
To be able to be heard from them was really incredible. We had a screening of Israelism at the beginning of the year that was attended by members of Friends of Israel, of Students for Justice in Palestine, and members of J Street, which seems like a crazy thing to say now. And
well, that kind of shows you on a certain level just how, I mean, J Street, to a great extent, came into being as in response to PR problems. Namely, it was like, one was, okay, let me just make sure I'm getting the chronology right here. J Street founded, yeah, 2007. So J Street is about as old as the medieval siege on Gaza. At a time when public opinion, especially Jewish opinion, and also just opinion in like the younger generations and the under 30s at the time was increasingly turning against, the atrocities that Israel and the U.S. commit in Palestine, because it was becoming increasingly hard to avoid knowing exactly what was going on. And of course, you have all of these hardline right-wing Zionist organizations like ADL and AIPAC and fucking, the American Jewish Committee and the rest of them, who take the absolute hardline stance, which was increasingly not working. And so J Street was sort of a recuperation op to a certain extent to give, that was supposed to look like something that somebody who was not necessarily totally on board with the sort of mass murder Israel was doing on the regular even then could get with, while still being pro-Israel. These are the pro-Israel, pro-peace kind of people. That's the kind of slogans they like to use. They throw peace in there. They don't really, what peace actually means is another matter. It does not, of course, include justice for Palestinians.
And the situation that we're in, but that did happen this past year.
But the fact that they were doing this screening of Israelism, and that so many and these disparate groups showed up, actually kind of shows how much opinion, particularly in the younger generations, has softened on, where people, even people who are inclined towards Zionism, are at this point not in this age group, are more likely to want to at least acknowledge that actually a lot of people aren't, and perhaps have reasons other than them being anti-Semitic monster people or something like that. I mean, the fact that that's actually going on, I would say, is a sign of progress. It's a sign of sort of weakening of the Zionist front to a certain extent. I haven't seen Israelism. I keep hearing reasonably good things about it, though.
I was most recently able to engage in a Jewish-Muslim dialogue put on by the Interfaith Chaplaincy.
A Jewish-Muslim dialoge,
at Tufts, which was truly incredible last week. And I do think there have been some really incredible wins on by J Street U chapters. And
what kind of wins? What are you counting as a win? I mean, is that a win that you're having Jewish-Muslim dialogue? What does that mean? What? I mean, that's just meaningless. That's just, we're gonna talk for first of all, Palestinians aren't all Muslim. So phrasing it in terms of Jewish-Muslim dialogue is a bit weird. But, I mean, it's all about trying to normalize the situation and make it about us all getting along, rather than the actual problem, which is that this is a colonial regime that is built on ethnic cleansing and committing genocide.
By our leaders that you can see on the Zoom call today this past year, that I'm really proud of.
Rachel, what's been UCLA's response from J Street U?
Yeah, so our encampment was erected on Thursday, and the Wednesday night we
Okay, we're 8 minutes in, still nobody's mentioned Gaza.
had a Seder. And we had maybe 15 J Street U students we read from a Haggadah supplement compiled by Halachic Left, All That's Left, and...
Wait, okay. I've never heard of Halachic Left. The fact that J Street considers them kosher immediately makes them sound kind of trafe to me. Let me just see. The only diaspora organization working within observant communities to change the narrative on Israel and Palestine. They follow the liberal Zionist tendency. When you hear the phrase Jewish supremacy, that is actually a really problematic phrase for a couple of reasons. There's a reason liberal Zionists like it. Because it avoids the fact that Zionism is a white supremacist movement. And you can see that on a number of levels, both in the fact that Zionism starts from the idea that Jews have no business living in the countries we've lived in for, 2,000 fucking years. And you can also see it in the hierarchy that exists in the Jewish settler population in Palestine. Where, I mean, it is European Jews on top, and everybody else is varying degrees of, second-class citizen. And so when they make it about Jewish supremacy rather than white supremacy, it is a way to sort of avoid really addressing the issue. Let me see. But what is it? What are their fucking goals? Okay, advocacy. Let's see this. Advocacy. Online meetings with Palestinian communities in the West Bank. Emergency prayer gathering in front of the Israeli consulate. The shared words of Torah to cry out over the desecration of Hashem's name perpetrated by Israel in Gaza. I mean, okay, that's encouraging. But again, there's very little specifics here in terms of, what do they stand for when they say they want a just solution? What is that just solution? I mean, definitely no BDS here. Definitely no real mention of the importance of, Palestinian leadership or anything like that. Any Palestinian authors and their suggested reading. Small Emuni. Yeshiva students. Okay. If not now, yeah. I'm gonna just drop this link in chat as well. I mean, it is sort of one of the things that you can kind of tell with liberal Zionism as well is that there is sort of an allergy to actually including Palestinians on reading lists.
Hasmol HaEnemy, and we read from that, which was really powerful. We had some really meaningful discussions. Everyone made really great food.
I mean, how powerful can it fucking be if we're 9 minutes in and nobody, people are distressed about the fucking campus encampments? To some extent, they're, distressed about the police violence against those encampments. But nobody's talking about Gaza. I mean, nobody's saying a word about it. I mean, even the way that, even the way that Halachic Left put it in there, they said, the desecration of the name of Hashem in Gaza, and it's okay, yes, I can see that. There has been, just, shitting all over Jewish traditions and using them as a way to decorate a fucking massacre site. Yes, but there's more going on than that, dude. There's more going on than just that. Yes, that is a thing to call out, but what about the mass murder? What about, the fucking mass graves everywhere? If you're just joining us, I've decided to remedy an absence in my looking at like Zionist bullshit content on this channel. I'd been looking at right-wing Zionists, and those are easy to point out how full of shit they are and how just utterly ghoulish. But these are liberal Zionists. This is J Street. And J Street campus leaders. Ja, das ist in der Tat seltsam. Kommt ja eher selten vor. Ich frage mich, wo die anderen sind.
And so we didn't know. We figured that we would have an encampment, in the near future. We didn't know it would be the next morning, but
why did you figure you'd have an encampment?
I think it gave us, this realization that there is a community on campus who isn't, so extremely polarized in one direction or the other.
Yeah, I mean, again, just this liberal phrasing, polarized in one direction or the other. They're not for the genocide. They're not, the problem is that you got people who are for the genocide and people who are against the genocide. Not that there are people for the genocide. That's not the problem. The problem is that there's nobody in between who is in favor of maybe just a little bit of genocide as opposed to the whole thing.
And, I think that we try to also cultivate a space where maybe we don't 100% agree on everything all of the time, but people feel safe and people feel heard. And
yeah, I mean, this is such liberal bullshit. We're gonna feel safe and we're gonna feel heard, but it doesn't really matter whether anything gets done. It doesn't matter whether we actually talk about what matters. What matters is that we have a civil conversation. Hey, Riveroon, good to see you. Looking at some liberal Zionist bullshit.
We're united by our belief in the sanctity and dignity of all human life, whether, Israeli, Palestinian, Jewish, Arab, Muslim, all.
Really? And yet, it's 10 minutes in, and nobody said anything about the genocide.
No matter what their
not even
euphemistically. So I think being able to hold spaces like that has been really meaningful, and knowing that there is a community on campus.
Lauren, I wanted to turn to you. You are the president of the JSU National Board, and I would love to hear just your reflections on what it's like to lead a pro-Israel, anti-occupation movement at this moment.
A pro-Israel, anti-occupation movement. See, there you go. That's the contradiction at the heart of liberal Zionism. They'll be like, they're against the occupation. Never mind that, they'll treat the settlements and everything as if that is like something completely unrelated to the Zionist regime. Like it's this other thing, just totally different. When those settlements are totally integrated within Israel, Israel officially treats them as part of Israel. People who move to the settlements, if they are Jewish, they get to vote in Israeli elections. All this sort of shit. But they will act like being pro-Israel and anti-occupation is a coherent concept.
Oh.
Yeah, well, it's really hard to lead this movement.
I wonder, yeah, I mean, it seems like it would be relatively easy to lead the anti-occupation. Actually, it would be pretty fucking easy to lead the pro-Israel part, because, I mean, everybody's just, like, completely one-side, everybody who's anybody is totally one-sidedly supporting the regime and what they're doing. And just pretending the genocide
can be very tiring, and I think that all the other panelists on this call could agree that we feel like we're constantly trying to defend one group, or both groups, but one at a time. So
both groups? Which both groups?
For example, if we're within our halals, we're trying to stand up for Palestinians, and then when we walk by the encampments on our campuses, we're trying to stand up for Israelis. So
yeah. So you're basically you stand for fuck all is what it comes down to.
Exhausting, honestly, to try to balance both of those and make sure.
Well, yes, because it's literally impossible. That's like standing, because the thing is, The Israeli Jewish population overwhelmingly supports the mass murder, the genocide in Gaza. They say it's not going far enough. Israel, in order to keep the morale up on the home front, talks about, how there's not going to be anyone left in Gaza and they're going to make beachfront property and all this bullshit. I mean, never mind that that's utter fantasy, because the military can't even manage to hang out any place in Gaza for more than like a day without being picked by snipers and shit. But the idea that's the thing, not trying to stop the genocide, not that, but trying to stand up for both sides. You're gonna stand up for both sides.
Sure that the voice of humanity is heard.
What makes you think you're the voice of humanity?
I think it's really important, and it's involved a lot of like one-on-one.
Like, the voice of humanity is actually pretty loud, and it isn't actually very keen on Israel, because Israel's doing genocide. Like, if you look, what do you think that you're the voice of humanity?
Fuck
conversations
with students from all schools. But
that is the liberal Zionist contradiction, that they actually think that they are the humane voice in all of this.
It's a really difficult balance.
Thank you for that. Henry, Colombia has very much been at the epicenter of all this activity and these protests. Can you just give us a sense of what's been going on campus? Certainly we all saw on the news last night some of these interactions with police coming to a head. I just wanted to hear
interactions with police. That's cute.
What your experience has been.
Yeah, so
I guess like cops are just honorary Israelis or something.
The first encampment on Columbia's campus was set up exactly 2 weeks ago, and then was cleared by NYPD the next day, and 108 students were arrested. So that, in my opinion, really escalated tensions, because that brought outside protesters to campus who screamed horrible things at Jewish students, like, "We want October 7th to happen again." And
yeah, I mean, what's interesting is that you keep on hearing that this supposedly happened, and notice he's doing the outside agitator thing. He's not mentioned the fact that the Proud Boys and other neo-Nazis showed up to attack the encampment, attack the protesters. Like, you'll hear that this supposedly happened, but you will never actually see any evidence of it, or it's like one person.
And just harass people who were just wearing Stars of David or wearing a kippah. So that's really unacceptable.
Yeah, and also citation needed. It's really unsubstantiated.
But then we've also seen on the other side people demonize.
Both sides. We got to do both sides.
All of the protesters, especially the students, by saying that they are all Hamas, or they are all terrorists, or the situation on Columbia's campus is like the situation in Germany in 1938.
Yeah, which is just Holocaust and all.
And none of that is true.
Wow, that's big of him to admit.
We need to have room for free speech and peaceful protest. And unfortunately,
yeah, in other words, useless protest.
What we saw on Tuesday was the peaceful protest that was at the encampment, even though I profoundly disagree with much of what they say.
What do you disagree with specifically? Maybe you could tell us. Because we're 13 minutes into this video, and still nobody has said shit about Gaza.
It was peaceful, and then when they occupied Hamilton Hall, it transitioned from that.
It transitioned from that. What would you say was the tipping point? Could it have been the fact that the cops rushed the fucking campus, started attacking people, literally in at least one case fired a gun at somebody? Maybe that made it less peaceful? I notice he avoids calling it Hinds Hall, which is what, at Columbia they're calling that hall, named after Hind Rajab, who was a 6-year-old girl who was trying to get help was stuck for several days in a car, pinned down by Israeli death squads, managed to call the ambulance service, and the death squad shot at the fucking ambulances, and then they eventually shot her. But he's so committed to not saying shit about Gaza that he's not even going to say Hin's Hall.
And it's
I mean, by this time, I believe there was already that Macklemore song, for fuck's sake.
Was no longer
people who've never set foot on the Columbia campus know that's Hin's Hall.
So Columbia brought in the NYPD again last night. We were under a shelter-in-place order and under risk of disciplinary action if we left our house. So currently, over 200 people have been arrested as of last night, and I am not allowed to go onto campus. No student who lives off campus can go on. So, yeah, that's pretty much a summary of what's been happening.
I like how he suggests that it's became unpeaceful before the massive police attack that resulted in an NYPD occupation of the campus, where that was, I mean, really brings to mind a state of siege in Chile. It was on that level, that just all the descriptions of cops just basically at every door, just harassing people, checking everybody's paper, just randomly beating people up and shit like that. Just completely clamping down on any activity at the university like that. I mean, that is the sort of thing you hear about at universities in Chile in the 70s and 80s. But the idea that it became unpeaceful, he doesn't say what made it unpeaceful. But it became unpeaceful before the cops violently just started breaking heads in some unspecified way in order to avoid acknowledging that actually what breached the peace was the cops, actually.
But also, students have lost so much trust in the administration, especially because of the NYPD being brought in. And then there's been no communication. For example, our final exams are coming up, and the libraries are all off limits to all students.
Well, I mean, he's so committed to the both sides thing.
So, I would say we're just in a very difficult time right now. And I've seen that a lot of people...
What are the protests about? Are any of you going to talk about what the fucking protests are about?
And the questions are saying that it's unclear to them what's happening. It's also unclear to me.
It's unclear to me if you are going to acknowledge what's happening.
Even though I live 2 blocks off campus, I don't know what's happening.
Thanks for sharing that, and I know we're all thinking about you and your fellow students who are dealing with this
thinking about anything but Gaza.
Unimaginable moments on...
Okay, yeah, I mean, let me just say, yeah, it's absolutely horrible. You're going to call that unimaginable and you're not going to say anything about Gaza. I mean...
On campus. Rachel, I want
and of course, it's not even clear to me what Sam Berkman means is unimaginable. Just over-the-top police violence on campus. Or the fucking... or just having protests against the genocide.
To turn to you now.
Yes, this is all they ever say. We've been 14 minutes into it. And the whole reason that anyone is supposedly, under stress or anything like that is the protests. We have not yet heard them acknowledge what the protests are about. Not once.
Unfortunately, UCLA now getting some more prominence in the news too. And
that's what's unfortunate. I mean, not the fact that a bunch of fascist goons showed up and threw explosives at student protesters.
See if you can tell us what's...
Well, the LA Sheriff's Department, those deputy gangsters, just watched, and the chancellor of the university, none of that.
Happening, your view
on prominence in the news.
Both sides of the
That's
different
the problem.
Protests and counter-protests are standing for. and what you and J Street you are standing for in this moment as well.
Yeah, I just want to quickly clarify some things in the chat. The Seder that was hosted was done at a board member's apartment, so it wasn't done in connection with the encampment. It was done.
Yes, although, and she's not going to mention, I suppose, that there was in fact a Seder at the encampment. There've been Seders at a lot of these encampments for the simple reason that they're full of Jews.
Before the encampment was arrested, and it was just something to build our community. So the encampment was erected Thursday, and it was there was chanting, but other than that, it felt pretty much like a regular protest on campus. There were counter protesters.
I mean, they haven't yet said what the demands of these encampments are either, which is divestment from like Israeli weapons companies and shit.
But generally things were pretty tame between them, and each day things have sort of escalated. Counter protesters, on Friday or Saturday, it's been clear from the encampment in their communications that someone in there has a fatal allergy to bananas, and so counter protesters have been bringing.
I mean, when she says counter protest, what she means is fascist goons. Oh, Joe K, I am remedying an oversight. I have watched a whole lot of ghoulish right-wing Zionists on this channel, and I had completely overlooked liberal Zionists, who are just absolutely the most nothing motherfuckers ever. They always fly under the radar because if you don't listen carefully, they sound like maybe they're kind of on the right side of things. But then when you start talking about specifics, it's like, well, what we need to do, what's really urgent right now, is we need to have interfaith dialogue. And maybe fewer settlements and shit like that. And it's like, so, yes, these are campus J Street leaders. J Street is the sort of liberal Zionist counterpart to AIPAC. It's the same bullshit. Naja, friedlich war schon immer ein sehr subjektives Wort. So, these are all, I guess, undergrads or early postgrads who are heads of J Street University chapters. So, like, a liberal Zionist student thought leaders. The lobbyists of the future.
Throwing bananas into the encampment, and things like that. I saw on Friday someone.
See, liberal Zionists will acknowledge that some fucked up shit is being done by the fascists, but they will at the same time always both sides that, and they will never talk about what this is about. We're like 16 minutes into this shit. 16 minutes into this shit. Nobody has said shit about Gaza. We had a mention because Henry Sears here, he's at Columbia, where the site of Hins Hall, that Macklemore song that's gone around the world, there's footage of like little kids in Gaza rocking out to it. Don't understand a word of English, but they know it's about them and they love it. But this guy resolutely avoided calling it Hins Hall. Despite the fact that probably most people on campus would call it that at this point. There has been just this amazing commitment to not talking about what's actually going on. The whole thing is framed as what's stressful is the protests. Not watching little kids get blown to bits every day, watching fucking babies who look like they got fucking anorexia. It's not that. It's that there are protests. Yeah, that's when you have, these sorts of groups, it doesn't matter what the issue is. I'm not talking specifically about Israel. PragerU will have somebody there, or, Young Republicans. And those motherfuckers, that is a fast track to, getting, either lobbying jobs or like congressional staffer jobs and all that sort of shit, you know, where like the whole thing is bringing bullshit into, you know, they're responsible for representing certain types of bullshit. Gute Nacht, GGM. It's about time for me to wrap up. I think I'm going to continue with this tomorrow. And incidentally, let me just say, I thought it was a really great stream this afternoon. I think, well, you and Riveroon were both there. Joe K, you came in towards the end. Check out the VOD. I think I think you missed a really good one. But the video we started, I'm thinking we might continue that about Tsotsitaal and the other more unconventional, marginalized South African languages. I thought that was really, I thought that was really cool, and think it'd be interesting. I'm gonna be on Twitch. Let me give the Twitch address. You can find me there at 4:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. And then tomorrow, I think we might continue with this. I mean, unless somebody else has ideas and any suggestions there, which I'm like, let me know in the Discord. I'd love to hear them. The first video that we looked at this afternoon on the other channel was, you know, a suggestion from chat, and it was fucking great. So, yeah. So, thank you to everyone who tuned in. I hope you enjoyed it. And I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. If you're not already in the Discord, let me just drop the link so that you can become someone who is in the Discord. And with that, I will wish you a very good night.